Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and today we are talking about the LEC. Not the LEC Spring Split, like I just clicked on the LEC Summer Split. And, yeah, things got a little spicy over the last round of the Summer Split, so, let's jump right into it after I have a sneeze. Sorry about that. I just totally could not. I had that sneeze, of course, right as I started. Like, right as I hit live, I felt that sneeze coming up. So, anyway, the playoffs so far, we had some craziness this week. We had Rogue versus SO4 and G2 versus Fnatic. We can go through the match history here. So let's get the Rogue versus SO4 first, and then the G2 versus Fnatic. Then after that, we'll make our predictions for Fnatic versus SO4 on Saturday, and then of course Sunday. Right after that is G2. We'll see who goes on from there. But first was Rogue versus SO4. Game number one, fantastic performance by Rogue. Just like absolutely felt like a caught SO4 unprepared. Like they were just bullying them completely, pretty much the whole time. Like SO4 only had this one semi-okay team fight around the Rift Herald where they got two, but they also gave up three. They got two in a Rift Herald, which I would consider worth giving up 3 kills. But immediately after that, like they gave up another 3 kills, and that was all they did for the entire game. They had those 2 kills right there, and that was it. Like they did nothing against. They took zero advantage of the Lucian Leona bot lane. They actually died once on down there, or twice I believe, once or twice down there, and like never got a kills. Like you, if you're playing Lucian Leona bot lane and you're not gonna get anything, you are screwed. Like there's no other way to put it. You need to get your kills early and effectively, or especially against Kai'Sa, who also has very short range. That Lucian has about the same range as her, and Leona if she has short range, you can get a lot of E's onto her, or even one E and then a flash Q just to get into range if she uses her E to run away. But yeah, and Leona's super counters were con. I thought this was going in. I thought this was a great overall draft by SO4. I like the Gnar into Aatrox because he has the range, and Gnar to me is just annoying. He's one of the most annoying champions at the top lane against because if you're a melee, because the little mini Gnar is so frustratingly tough to get to, and I thought that Sejuani, while giving Silas, I think Silas is the better jungler at the moment, but Sejuani's decent enough that shouldn't have been a problem. I actually like Akali into Corki. I don't think Corki can poke her out a little bit, but early on when Corki really is kind of useless, his roaming isn't great before his Triforce. Even if he does roam with the package, he can do that, but I don't think it's like he doesn't have any kill potential without that Triforce. So Akali can get a lot of quick roams early on and kind of snowball off of that. So I kind of liked SO4's like whole team dynamic quite a bit in this game, but like man, they did not play it correct at all. They just got outmatched completely by Rogue. It looked like Rogue was ready for it, and they absolutely were, and they just destroyed this game. I was very very happy with this because even though I picked SO4 to win 3-1, which was correct. I was like secretly hoping, like everyone deep down, except for maybe SO4 fans, were really rooting on Rogue here. Like, come on, that's just like a great underdog story to be like inspired by and hope that they can pull it off. So seeing that first match win, I'm like, damn, this team's gonna go to finals. Like they're legit. And then game number two, it was pretty much all SO4. It seemed like I didn't like the Zac pick at all. I hate going against Zac in solo queue because of just the amount of CC. But like, oof, he gets bullied quite a bit early by the Xin Zhao, and it showed as Xin Zhao was able to just outgank him. Or just he has so much extra damage and presence early, Xin Zhao, that even though Zac has very easy ganks, like he doesn't provide a lot of damage if he's caught out or in a 2v2 situation where Xin Zhao is providing some form of CC and a lot of damage early. Zac obviously is a way better late game champion than Xin Zhao as he can set up plays constantly and your enemy ADC has to always be looking out for Zac to be anywhere on the map. But early on, SO4 just got it going quickly with that Zinzao. As you can tell, the Rumble got a kill up top, and then Zinzao got a double. Zinzao got another kill and a dragon. And this is what they with the Lucian Alistar. Even though Ignar is like the Leona guy to me because he's the one that picked it on Misfits against SKT. So he's like the one guy I looked to for Leona. He looked way more comfortable on the Alistar in this game against Braum, which seems weird to me because I just feel like Braum Kai'Sa is a better combo than Rakan Kai'Sa, especially with Leona into Rakan. Like I felt like they should have just won that lane that first game way more. Maybe it was like some stage nerves a little bit because SO4 had beaten Vitality, but like I don't know. Maybe they just like maybe they weren't prepared for the Silas Jungle, and Silas Jungle really caught him off guard. But I wouldn't have been prepared for Sack Jungle unless they were seeing that in scrims. But Larson had another great game. If you watch these games, you know where this is going. Where Larson had two phenomenal first games of the split of the season. Oh my god, of the playoffs. Not even that. I got that wrong. Of the series is the word I was looking for. Unbelievable, unbelievable. I can't speak. You'd think English isn't my first language, but sadly it is. and then game number 3 happened. Everybody that's watched this, you know exactly what I mean. Again, Odawame, oh my god, Odawame is yeah, he popped off this game. He was 11-3, but it wasn't enough for SO4 for the longest time. SO4 was losing constantly. Look, you can see they were winning at the begin, like these little few skirmishes for the first 20 minutes. But then after that 20-minute mark hit, you can see this spike in gold lead here. It wasn't much, to be fair. It was never much, but it was like a 1.1k gold lead at worst for SO4 to be down. But oh my god. The play that happens is as you see here, Larson gets a double kill. Very good. They get 3 for 1. Very good. They get 3 people for 1 round here. And then they go and they push up. Boop, 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 boop. And they're like, okay, we're going to end this game. Rogue's going to take a 2-1 lead on the series. They take the inhib. Check. You take the tower. Check. You take the tower, you take the inhib, you can push the end. The only people alive at this moment is Onowame, who is fed, but he's Kennen by himself with Lucian. And Lucian at this point wasn't very fed. I mean, he was never fed really for most of the game, but he was 4-2 at this point. But this is a 35-minute Lucian. And Lucian without any front line outside of Kennen is not going to do much to an Aatrox, a Corki, a Draven, and a Morgana. Right? Right. So, oh man. They kind of get engaged on by Onowame, but it wasn't too bad. They kind of wiped them out quickly because they had 3 people. But as that was happening, they took this tower as well. And then as that was happening right here, Larson, with the Corki packages from here to here, and upsets right here. The plan obviously is to go here to here, burst. Like he's level 18 Corki. He's level 18 Corki with full 5 items, 5.5 items. Like he is one rocket EQ just auto attack. Like the Corki combo will kill Lucian, or if not, he's down to 1 and just needs 1 more auto. Like that is it. However, unfortunately, the package went from here to the edge of the fountain. Or not even the edge. He kind of went. It was more than edge. Edge of the fountain is giving him a little bit benefit of the doubt. It was. He went into the fountain with the big package. He miscalculated, and then because obviously he went into the fountain, he just got instant popped like that. Died. Tried the W out. Died right there. Now, all of a sudden, your level 18 Corki's gone. They still took the second tower, but as you can tell, Corki's dead. They kill Vander. They kill Woolite. They kill Inspired. They kill Finn. They got them all. They got every single one of them off of that while losing both their Nexus towers. So their Nexus is exposed. So the game wasn't won yet. But they had the Elder and the Baron spawned up right. Of course it does. Of course it does. After a mistake like that, we've all, maybe not in that necessary like scenario, but we've all had that throw when you're about to win a game and then like you get aced and you're like, either the enemy team pushes for like the next 40 seconds and just comes back and wins with like a Jax, or like you just like, oh, we have a 10k gold lead, we're fine, and then the enemy aces you, and then you get the Baron and you get the Elder Drake. Like that stuff is spawning. You weren't smart in your game. I mean, we're all scrubs, right? like we all, everyone makes mistakes like that. No one makes mistakes like that necessarily in the playoffs of a professional game, or if you're a professional player, mistakes like that are very, very, very minimal. And just the fact that that happened after he was having such a good series before that, even in their loss, he was like 4-1 on Akali, and that 1.1k gold lead instantly turned into a 700 gold deficit, which is no big deal. You know that you can recover that, but just the tilt alone and just the pure momentum you give SO4 after that was towers, or all these towers here. It's all of a sudden shoots up in a solid 3 minutes. It goes from a 1k gold lead to a 5k gold deficit off of that Baron, and then just the very next fight, Otoame is just hyper fed on cannon, 6 item cannon, AP cannon, the right cannon, and he gets his nice fancy ult, gets a pentakill. Sorry, yeah, I forgot he got that pentakill in this game, and that was his first ever pentakill. It got all, like, I believe it was right here. Yeah, it was like all right here, and then he killed, I believe, right here, and it was just like it was over. They lost all 5 members because Rogue panicked and tried to take a fight that they weren't prepared for because they were tilted, and like I feel like it was just a kind of a situation like that. And Onwanme punished them for it, and they got the win. You didn't even have to watch Game 4 to know exactly what was going to happen after that type of loss for Rogue. Rogue Larson recovered, but Woolite went 1-6, 0-7 on Vander. That is a solid 1-13 bot lane that just got absolutely obliterated. Upset just popped off so hard on the on the Lucian. You also had Abadange popping off on the Corki. I mean, you knew going into this game it was over. They did have a 4K gold lead, by the way. So it wasn't like this game was just a straight blowout. It was more so like you had the bot lane dying a lot. You had 4, 5, 6 deaths on the bot lane before 18 minutes. But the rest of the lanes were holding, like Finn was holding pretty solid on the Aatrox. He actually had that fantastic, like, was that like triple kill or 2 double kill and a 3-for-1, like right around here. It was a really, really good play by Finn to keep him in the game. Yeah, it was right here. It was a really good play to keep him alive for that right before the Baron, and they actually got the Baron because of that. But then right after they get the Baron, they go up, they get some towers. You're like, okay, Rogue maybe isn't tilted, and then they just lost that last final team fight. Upset just gets 3 kills. I mean, it was. Olaf doesn't do anything once you hit that 35-minute mark. He becomes pretty much useless, and that's the worrisome thing I had the whole time with Rogue. I thought maybe they can bridge that gap with Azir and Tristana being such hyper carries late, and Aatrox as well. But Corki and Rumble are also really strong late themselves. Rumble's always strong. Is a strong team fight tool late, but Rumble himself isn't necessarily that strong. But man, unfortunate. Bro, I was right. I mean, I did predict the 3-1 SO4, so we can green it, but I've never been more unsatisfied with a correct prediction in a long time. It's been a long time since I was that unsatisfied. And G2, I picked the 3-0 Fnatic, which completely happened after G2 decided to show up. No, G2 had a little bit of an issue in this series between them and Fnatic. Game number 1, they got stomped. I like the Mord Pike. We've seen it before. Into Garen Yumi, I do like it. I just think Garen Yumi is just so broken at the moment that it didn't matter. And Nemesis also was having the game of his life on the AD Twisted Fate. I thought his stun cards were so important, and it worked really well with Nocturne being able to ult in and get, like, you could get a point and click. You get the Nocturne ult into the Twisted Fate ult. You have so much map control, Gangplank ult, so much map control. Just feed it all into Reckless and Hylissang, and then you just Garen Yumi. If you watch this game, Garen Yumi is like near invincible. I like the concept of this because if Mordekaiser pulls Garen into the thing, and then you have Pyke against Yumi. Pyke can easily kill Yumi with just all he needs is one pull on Yumi. Yumi can't do anything by herself, and he can pull an instant kill. So I like the concept. I like the idea. Just did not work. He also Caps just got stomped by Nemesis, obviously, in the mid lane too. Though there was a lot of ganks mid too. like you'll see like a lot of these kills. I mean, he also had a poor game, so I can't just blame it on ganks. But you can see all those. There weren't really many in lane, but he just died. He kept going in, like he wasn't fed enough to actually kill anyone. Game number 2, a little bit closer, but still mostly like the kills were 17-13. But honestly, I felt like Fnatic were all in control this whole game. Like, I'm honestly surprised that G2 had a gold lead at any point in this game. I guess it makes sense at that exact moment at 454 because they did kill 4 people for 3 it was 4 for no, it was 4 for 4 at the end of the day, but 2 of them happened to be Wonder. Wonder had a very rough Shen game, which makes me excited for Team Liquid. That Shen did not look good in Wonder's hands. That might be a pick that, if it comes to Worlds, like Team Liquid can take if Shen becomes meta with that new buff. But yeah, Nemesis again. Another Nemesis has a disgustingly good Twisted Fate AD. Like he's played that a lot this split, and like it's one of his best champs by far. Reckless also what was his Ezreal damage? Yeah, 23.7k. Yeah, I was like Nemesis great. He hit the Sun cards, but Reckless on this Ezreal, unbelievable the amount of damage he's doing. I'm surprised Perks was doing that much damage as well, to be honest, because it felt like it just. Like I said, watching this game once, it felt like Fnatic was in just complete control the entire time, and Reckless was just popping off on that Ezreal. He felt like it was one of those games where all of Ezreal's abilities are point and click. It was like one of those, like you see Deft perform sometimes like that. That was what it felt like for Reckless. It was an amazing game. And then the best game, if you want to go watch an amazing game, game number 3. It was a great one. Oh man, this one again. It looked like it was all Fnatic for a while, but these fights weren't. They were bloody. This game was very, very bloody. 28-22. This is LPL levels of bloody, but it was it's reckless kill right away. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count the kills. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 kills by the 12-minute mark. There were 20 kills in this game. Like, it was insane. Just constant skirmishing. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But at the end of the day, Fnatic was taking objectives with their skirmishing. They got 2 very early Ocean Drakes, which were very good for poking people out and just constantly having that mana in lane. Because, hell, you were still technically just ending laning phase by that point. But there was just so many skirmishes that even then... Fnatic got the Rift Herald and then the next dragon. They got 3 dragons and a Rift Herald before 18 minutes, which was very good. And then they got the Baron right away at 20 minutes because they picked off Mickey. And then that's all of a sudden with Mickey gone, that is most of their G2s engaged outside of Kled. Kled was I guess they had Grogasol maybe, and then like maybe Silas, but they don't have that reliableness that Rakan brings to the engage table. And getting him picked, just instant took the Baron at about 20 minutes, and then just they off of that Baron, they were able to take the inhib down here. Let's see the building. You have to be able to take the top inhib at 22 minutes at the very end of the push, and it was pretty much looking at that point. At that point, it was about a 5-6k gold lead, and they have a 22-minute inhib on the top lane. You're like, holy crap, Fnatic's got a 3-0 G2. What happened here? And then, oh, this team just got... I knew after this game that it was going to be a reverse. It was one of those, like, sickening, like... Because everyone also wants to see an upset. Even though I picked G2 to 3-0 Fnatic. Upsets are fun to watch. Like, let's be honest. They're just fun to watch. And, man, I just knew deep down once... This was fine. I was like, okay, this was a 3-for-1. You took our 3-for-2, and then that Kled got the kill to stabilize it for 3-3. But they still got a tower. I wasn't upset with that. This is where it got worrisome, where it was 4-for-3, and then they took the Baron eventually off of that as well, and then they got a mountain and just ate all these. They took 33 minutes right there. They got the Baron, and then eventually they got the inhib after that. They got the inhib on their winning play, but they didn't get the inhib, but they broke the base. And that was the most important thing to do. That's always the most important thing to do with the Baron. And once they broke the base, the gold lead was dead even. You saw the scaling on each side. You're like, still pretty even, to be honest. I was thinking it was a little more, but honestly, I think Kaisa scales more than Zaya, but just a little bit. I think Thresh and Rakan scale about the same. Silas and Akali again the same. Brock or Gragas and Gragas and Lee Sin. Gragas I'd give a little bit of advantage, and Kled and Renekton I have to give Kled a tiny bit, but not too much. Like there's not too much heavy scaling on either side, but like the fact that you're now going from like a 6K gold lead to a deficit, like a dead even game, even in that type of situation, you feel like you're down way more than you actually are since you've just lost everything for a while there, and then eventually that final team fight, they lost it all. They lost the inhib. They lost the game. It was like, this game was insane. This game was quite insane. Like it was what, a 40-minute game, which is pretty uncommon. But man, I wish Fnatic would have 3-0'd. That would have been crazy just to see that happen. But once they lost, once I saw that Nexus blow up, I knew G2's gonna reverse sweep this. Just the amount of if you take, what's the saying, like if you take a shot at the king, don't miss type situation. That was this type of situation where it just, you can't do it. You can't blow a 6K gold lead up 2-0 on G2 and then just, you're giving them all the momentum back. They came up and won. Next game number 4 was pretty much a blowout for G2 in G2's favor. 25-minute win. Shen again looking very weak in the LEC. This could be NA's chance. I know it's only like Liquid that can really pull off the Shen. I don't know how Shen looks necessarily, but man, this could be an advantage for them. That this Shen is not, obviously there's only 2 games of sample size here, but you never know. Caps popped off on the Syndra. I like Syndra and the Corki. You just stat check the man. Corki's annoying, but like if you farm up enough on Syndra, get like 2 items, you just stack check. Like just you get hit by 1 stun, you can get a Q off of on him, and then he's gonna die or he's gonna be ineffective because he's gonna have to use his package to back off and run away. And that's pretty much what happened. Same with Reckless, Hill saying. Gragas was AP Gragas, so they're all squishy. The only one that you're not stat checking on is Shen. Like, you can get the rest of them very, very easily. Syndra is also a insanely hard counter to Rakan, because Rakan jumps in and you just go pop, E, boom, dead. E are dead. EQ are dead, pretty much. That's it. That's all you need. Or hell, RE, depending, and then you knock all the people behind Rakan back. It's a very, very opposite lane counter to him. And then game number 5. Well, I mean, did we even have to play game number 5? It felt like at this point it was 2-2, and they went 19 minutes. It didn't even. They had both Nexus towers, I believe, down at like, they had 1 Nexus tower down at 17 or under 17 minutes. I mean, it was just such a blowout, such a complete blowout. They pulled out this Kassadin, didn't garbage. Kassadin needs scaling. 19 minutes, you're not going to be scaling. They picked it with the Elise and the Zai. I just don't like this team comp at all, to be honest. It's super squishy, 0 front line whatsoever. Your front line is Braum, and Braum is very squishy when his shield is not up. His shield is the only thing protecting him. The front line is Kled, Sejuani, Rakan. You have so much engage with Rakan and Kled and Sejuani. You have just absurd amounts of engage into this. This game was over in draft. It was over in game 4. It was over in game 3, to be honest. But man, like this game, you cannot expect a team to win in this type of situation. The odds of winning this game are so slim. You have to essentially. You have to get Elise hyper-fed enough on Kassadin or Akali. Even then, Akali, these guys are... Silas is tanky enough of his healing. Kled is tanky enough with Skarl. You have Sejuani, and then you have the safety of Ezreal Rakan. Like, Akali's doing nothing this game. She just can't. It's just 2 over team comp. Elise can only throw her, like, the stun, and then you have to get basically Kassadin hyperfed so we can get to the backline there. But if he's in the back line by himself, there's so much CC here that he's just gonna get popped immediately. Is like a 2 second cooldown. Like you can get CC'd in that time. Yeah, Zaya, same thing. Just like I mean, Hellsing, like team comp is not good. This is you knew the second this game happened, it was over. It was, and G2 moved on to the finals, and Fnatic they do have a shot to redeem themselves. I don't know so much if they're going to. Like I said, I think they took their one shot and they missed, and I think that I was very surprised that they were able to even draw that much blood from G2 and draw enough blood that they should have won. They really, really should have won. They just it's a team that let their foot off the pedal for just like the slightest moment, and G2 capitalized on that completely. I mean, it's a fantastic series to watch, but man, if you go back and just watch how dominant Fnatic is in game 1, game 2, and in most of game 3, and just watch them kind of hesitate a little bit. They get a little nervous. You can tell in the VODs that they just got slight bit nervous. Just obviously it's in a high pressure situation like that, but it happened, and then G2 grabbed onto that, and just that's why G2 is one of the best teams in the world. Some people would argue the best team in the world. Like I love that argument just because it's crazy that we have a Western team that is easily in the top 3, in my opinion, in the world. And it's just they're an S tier. I think at work today I was actually making a what's it called? Like power rankings for Worlds, just like a hypothetical power rankings at the moment, and I had G2 currently in like 3rd place, depending on how this LPL game goes. Between FunPlus and RNG, they'll probably move up to 2nd, depending on the loser of that, unless it's super dead even. And then you have SKT. You have all these S tier teams, and you have like the A tiers of Liquid and Fnatic and stuff like that. Worlds is gonna be so exciting this split, or like so much. I'm so looking forward to it. Then finally, since G2 won, G2 moved on to the finals. Fnatic is going to be facing off against SO4 Saturday, and I think that it's kind of how stable is Fnatic after that loss, because you can see if this might be a reach. This might be a reach. I will say, I might be over analyzing this situation. But in Spring Split, Fnatic finished 11-7, but they finished on an 8-game winning streak. Before that, they were 3-7. Quick maths. But they got really, really tilted after they got crushed in finals, and they discussed that really affected them coming into the spring. Their like mental, like they felt like they achieved going to the finals, but then like at the same time they just got blown up by IG at Worlds last year, and it really messed them up at the beginning of the Spring Split. So there is evidence of Fnatic possibly tilting. And if there is a loss to tilt on, it's that reverse sweep against G2. It's a pretty bad one. SO4 is coming off a very solid win against Rogue, a very solid opponent, and a win against the Vitality. So it basically comes down to who is Fnatic is the better team. I will flat out say that easily. No question there. Is how much momentum does SO4 have coming off of their victory against Rogue, and just for the bigger aspect, how tilted is Fnatic against SO4? Like after that loss to G2, are they have 2 ways to look at it, where they're like going to be furious that they were that close and they missed, and they're going to be pissed about that, and they're going to just be overthinking it too much, or they're going to shake it off, realize we can compete with G2. That's what I want to see. I want to see like. Hell, that's what I want to see from Liquid as well, and just all these my A tier team lists that I had, that we can compete with anyone in the world. We are a top 10 team in the world. We just on any given day we can beat anyone, and we messed up, but we showed that G2 can bleed, and we need to work upon what we did in those first 2 games and try and capitalize on that more. That's what hopefully they go through, but. They have been known before. I think that it is going to be. I think this game is going to be closer than some people realize. I think that at the end of the day, I'm putting my faith in This is a tough one. I want to make the bold upset. I really do. Like, want to say that SO4 is going to beat Fnatic. Like, this is going to be one of those things where I'm not bold enough. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like, we don't count playoffs for we count playoffs for our predictions, but we don't count them like in the sense against each other. So why not? Why not do it? Like, yeah, I'm gonna pick SO4 to win a nail biter against Fnatic. Unsurprising. This is upset of the week. I don't think I picked an upset like this in a while. I think maybe I'd give my King Zone over Sandbox pick like this. I love that pick. I saw that today and I was like, oh man, William. Like I was like, oh, whew. Like we called that series exactly. Like we got that thing dead on. I believe we got even games, right? Like basically we said everything. I didn't write it down, damn it. But we said everything that we said about it in that podcast. We predicted that exactly who was gonna win this series, and I was excited about that. So let's try again. Let's pick SO4. Fnatic is going to come in tilted. SO4 has been prepping hard. They probably were prepping harder for Fnatic than G2, frankly, to be honest. Like, just everyone assumed G2 is going to be the final boss. So, I'm going to go. They're just going to be tilted in a sense of tilt. And SO4 is no pushover. I think the SO4 will take a very close 3-2. Now, doesn't happen. It is a bold upset at the end of the day. But damn, I'm hoping this one's right because I think Upset and Ignar are no slouches on the bot lane. Abadange is not a slouch in the mid lane. Like, this is a team that you have to come at your best. They are what Fnatic is to G2. SO4 is to Fnatic. They are a tier below them. I would put SO4 as like a B tier team, and they can beat Fnatic on any given day. Just like Fnatic can beat G2 on any given day. It's hard. You have to execute properly, and the things have to be correct for you. The conditions have to be correct. Where this is a possible scenario if Fnatic does what they did from Worlds to Spring last year and tilts off the face of the earth, which is possible with players like I believe Bwipo, Reckless. I think they do tilt pretty easily. Like, it's not like necessarily. I mean, it is a negative thing. It doesn't mean they're bad players by any means. They're very, very, very good players, some of the best in the world. But I notice attitude-wise, they tend to. It's not a relaxed environment. It doesn't feel like, at least. It's definitely not like a G2 environment where everything seems like everyone's having just a blast. They're very more. Comparing it to NA, they feel like a lot more like Team Liquid, where C9 and G2 feel like the same type of atmosphere-wise. But we'll see. They very much well could just come back in, like I said the first time, and be like, "Yep, we're good," and just 3-0 SO4 or 3-1 them. But I'm going to go with the 3-2 for SO4. I think the upset's going to have the series of his life. He's been waiting to prove this forever. And Ignar as well will be right there with them. And I think that Trick can handle himself in the jungle. That's gonna be the biggest watch for me is Trick versus Broxah. I think Broxah is a massive favorite in that scenario, but I want to see if the laners they're slightly worse all around than Fnatic, but I want to see if that tilt will affect anything and maybe get them on equal footing and Trick can pull something off his sleeve. I was gonna say play a trick, but that was way too easy. And just maybe pull this off for SO4. Like, the cards have to be right, so this is a bold prediction, but we're going to go SO4. But with that will not be our final prediction, because then we would have G2 versus SO4. So we will talk both of these here, because G2 versus SO4 is a possibility, but Fnatic versus SO4 is just as likely as a possibility. So let's talk with the losing side, according to my prediction first. We have G2 versus Fnatic, the rematch of just a little bit ago, just last week. This time, I want to say I won't give G2 the 3-0 now. I don't believe that. I think I gave Fnatic not enough credit or I gave G2 too much credit in that scenario. But I would still give G2 a 3-1 victory. I think that when push comes to shove, I can't pick against this G2 team. They're too damn good in this league. Like, the only region that I don't see G2 getting first in is LPL. outside of that, I see them stomping any other region in the world. So I'm gonna pick them to win against against Fnatic a 3-1. Against SO4, they're gonna win 3-0 in that scenario. You're like, oh, but why'd you pick SO4 then? Matchups are different. If their laners are weaker against Fnatic, I'm thinking they can strike Fnatic by surprise with Fnatic being tilted and possibly being frustrated. I think that G2 will not have that scenario. G2 has better all-around players. Just all 5 positions I think are just a slight improvement than Fnatic. So then you could argue ADC with perks, but oops, that's a D&D thing. But you can argue perks and reckless on ADC, but the rest of them I don't think you can argue at all that G2 is just straight up better. And even then, you're still arguing between 1 and 2. So if you have 4 first place players and 1 second place player, you're still better than the team that has 1 first place player and 4 second place. But yeah, so I think SO4 would not have that lucky bounce per se against G2, and that they would get 3-0'd there. Either way, I have G2 winning the LEC. That's not that. After the bold prediction of SO4 over Fnatic, I don't really have a bit bold follow up. I just think G2 is that good, and if that happened, Fnatic would make Worlds, right? 120. Yeah, Fnatic would qualify for Worlds, and then SO4 would be the number 1 team in the gauntlet. They already are the number 1 team in the gauntlet no matter what. They just have to see if they beat G2, because if they beat G2, G2 gets that 2nd seed, and Fnatic has to face the gauntlet. So Fnatic isn't sealed into Worlds quite yet, but they're very, very likely to. But yeah, that should be how it goes, hopefully. We'll see by Saturday if I'm smart or bold enough for it. But anyway, thank you guys for coming to watch the LEC. Tomorrow we'll be talking wildcard regions for the first time in like 3 weeks. Lots of stuff has happened. Half of them are pretty much over at this point, and most of them will be over by either this week or next week. So there's lots of exciting news. I just caught up today on all the wild cards. Very sad spoiler this is from last week, so it's not that big of a spoiler. Dashing Buffalo have been eliminated from the VCS, like from the World's contention. So I was quite sad about that, to not see them go in the Worlds this year. But we will see a brand new team between either Gigabyte Marines again, which is not the brand new team, but we'll see Team Flash or Low Key, who 3-0'd Dashing Buffalo. Both of them are very good teams, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Vietnam can provide at Worlds with 2 seeds. And the rest of the regions, there are also some very exciting games. Like I'm really looking forward to Russia's Unicorns of Love versus Vegas Squadron. If you don't know, Unicorns of Love joined Russia's league just this split, and they took 3 players from the Vegas Squadron that was at MSI. So the fact that Vegas Squadron as a team was able to, I believe they only had their ADC and their support left, and they built around the rest of the map, and they upset Gambit last week, and Gambit was the number 1 team in Russia again, but they were pretty much tied with Unicorns of Love, but they did a tiebreaker and won that. So that will be a very exciting finals that I'm looking forward to. But we'll talk about that all tomorrow on the Wildcard Podcast. Anyway, thank you guys for coming to watch. I appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night.